good people? What's good? What's going on? You guys are watching and listening to your favorite podcast right now. So far, we've been trying to come up with a name for it, but from our man Julian, shout out to him. He likes the statement. At first, we were at the Beacon. We used to crack jokes about it. So I think the statement, we might have to stick with that. Tyrone, what you think about that?
Yeah, as of right now, I guess the name is whatever the name is. My name is my name.
Right.
So
we make the content fire, thus we make the name fire, correct?
Correct.
My man.
But who are you?
It's your boy Caleb Smith. Right here I have Tyrone across from me at this lovely table that we're sitting at right now. But if you guys are already familiar with our past work, we used to do Necessary Knowledge and Nonsense, a lot of other podcasts. But today we decided to give you guys more fire, more content. And with this, we have the statement, or if the name changes, we'll keep you guys posted. But so far, Tyrone, he's here, man. Thank you for just being here. Amazing co-host. And Julian, he wants for this to be our pilot, quote unquote, episode for you guys so we can give you a nice little sneak peek. But Tyrone, it's been a minute. Talk to me, man. Hey, what's been going on?
I've been good, man. I've been surviving and stuff like that, basically, if I could put it one way. Surviving.
I hear you. My man.
But honestly, today I turned in a group project today.
Oh yeah, you were working on that on Sunday.
Man,
it
was one of those things like I turned it in and I was just like, ugh.
Yeah.
We were presenting them today, and my head was down the entire time. I was like, I didn't even want to look.
I'm not
the
built
teacher
for this.
in the I didn't even want to look the teacher in the face. I was like, this is just. Ugh. But we made it out by our chinny chin chin.
My man Tyrone, the GOAT. And today, Tyrone, we're going to be talking about staying woke. And with being staying woke, on top of that, we'll be focusing on the upcoming election, which is tomorrow, Tuesday. And right now we have Stacey Abrams, Brian Kemp. We have this historical election that can possibly take place with Stacey Abrams being potentially the first black female governor of the state of Georgia, which is huge. And we're talking about one of the Confederate states during the Civil War. So this is amazing. So Tyrone, so far, how do you feel about everything that you've been seeing regarding the election?
Well, one of the main takeaways that I've been getting from this election more than others is just the young people's attention to it.
Gotcha.
I've noticed on social media mostly, a lot of influencers, I guess, that whose demographic is mostly young people. They've all been pushing heavy, go vote, this rappers. I think Lil Yachty had put something up.
Yeah, shout out to Yachty, man.
Yeah. He was saying I normally don't get into politics, but he's like, y'all gotta get out and vote and this, that, and this. And I'm really excited. I mean, I still do see people here and there, have that whole I don't want to vote mentality. But,
right.
For the most part, it seems like it's really been a big turnout this year.
Yeah. And you were involved at the voting polls, right?
No.
I thought you told me it was 2 weeks ago you were working at the polls or something like that, or that people that they could work at the polls, right?
Yeah.
That's what it was.
So, I found out recently that if you're registered to vote, you can go work a poll station.
That's what it was.
Yeah, and they'll pay you for that time that you would have had off from work. I think it's $100 a day.
It's not bad.
Maybe. I don't know. Don't quote me on that.
I know, right?
But definitely, if you're registered to vote, you can go work in the vote. And I strongly suggest that people do, because when I went to the polling station,
right,
I respect my elders.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of old people there. And a lot of old people dealing with a lot of new technology.
And they move pretty slow.
Oh, man. Not a good mix, man. Not a good mix.
That is hilarious. And Tyrone, you already know so far on social media, like what you even talked about earlier, sometimes we have this problem, especially our generation, and I sound like an old person, our generation, but we always are often debate of if it's still relevant to vote. And I used to be that person, that used to be stay woke. I was the person in the back that was, saying conspiracies, yada, yada, yada. But I was saying this years ago. But then, after seeing the 2016 presidential election and seeing how politics affects you on a local level, it's bro, you got to vote. And, even if people don't feel like they shouldn't feel obligated to vote, it's just that seeing that it's either have somebody like Brian Kemp, and if you decide to vote for him, that's all for you, all power to you. But it's right now, because I remember growing up, of course, there was racist politicians. It's always been like that. But I feel like now more than ever, people are just straight to the point. Brian Kemp, he's already showing you where he stands. Trump, he already showed you where he stands, because people used to be PC to a degree. Because even with Reagan, some people probably thought that he was a great president, but then others felt like he was racist, but you couldn't just flat out prove it sometimes. With Trump, is like, bro, check this out. Bush, like Kanye, he doesn't care about black people, but then, you know, you can ask Kanye, prove it to me, and then it'll be hard to. But then with Trump, you can just point to it. Or Stacey Abrams, you can show that she's for minorities and she's for everybody. So right now, for those people that's like on the fence, what advice do you have for them to discern of who I should vote for possibly?
Well, above all, do your own research. You know, I feel like now we live in a time where we just, you know, there's so much information being fed to you, like it's hard to distinguish not only what's real and what's fake, but what's like beneficial, I guess, because, you know, you can push information out that like creates a completely different narrative. So I would say above all, do your own research. And then from that, I would say just vote with your brain and not with your heart, because we're during a time now where I feel like it's a lot of like emotional manipulation.
Take the words out of my mouth.
Yeah, a lot of emotional manipulation going on, not just in politics either, like in all facets of media,
society.
Yeah, they're playing to your, you know, what makes you tick. They're pressing your buttons and stuff like that. So I would say, you know, learn to separate your heart and your mind. You know, but as far as who you vote for, just, I mean, it's your prerogative. But just make sure you're informed.
Big facts. And speaking on that, being informed, it's crazy because when you see these commercials on TV, when they talk about Stacey Abrams, or even if her camp is talking about Brian Kemp, emotion, like they're pulling out snippets and they're saying, do you want to vote this person as your governor?
I honestly don't even know why today they even still run those attack ads.
It makes no sense to me.
It seems like they're like a parody of themselves now.
There you go.
They come on now and you're like, Stacey Abrams is, you know,
she wants aliens to be. It's like, what are we talking about?
Come on now, bro.
That's facts, man. And speaking on the election still, let's see that. I think it was former President Jimmy Carter. He was talking about how with Kemp, he's trying to withhold 53,000 voters from voting. And it was a article, I think it was by the Washington Post, and they were saying that a disclosure of Carter's letter comes with Kemp under scrutiny from multiple fronts, chief among them 53,000 voter registrations being held by Kemp's office. Under the state's strict election laws, mail-in registrations must match exactly a voter's records on file with the Social Security Administration or Georgia's driver's license agency. So pretty much what they're doing is they have this exact match rule. And this is affecting some people who are immigrants and also minorities as well. So saying that this affects 53,000 voters, possibly, that's a lot of people. And then having Kemp as the person in office that's over watching the voting.
Yeah.
And I remember someone told me, man, that's like a ref being a coach at the same time and also being a player, because he can control everything that comes his way. So just knowing that 53,000 people, that's a lot of people that can be affected. So it's scary, man. It's super scary.
And isn't it like you can be purged and not even know it?
Facts.
Like you can, like, can you cast your vote and not even know that your vote didn't count?
There you go. And then knowing that it's not only just 53,000, like this affects more than just that one group. Like this affects a lot of people. And just like what you said, you can be purged and you might not even know it. And I think right now, Kemp, he is the finesse guy. Like, you have to give it up to him, because right now he's being super smooth with it. And also,
he's definitely representing Atlanta very well.
He is. Atlanta, the finessers, man. Like, it's crazy. And what they also are saying is that Kemp, he insists that he's fairly applying Georgia's law and that those would-be voters can cast ballots if they present acceptable identification, like any other Georgia voter. That clears up any questions. But Abrams and voting rights advocates have assailed the move and sued as part of a pattern Democrats say is intended to make harder for minorities and other Democratic constituencies to vote. Huffington Post said that. So I think, again, the finesse guy, because technically he can say that it's not racist. He's just trying to follow policy. So then people can say, dang, I can't get him right there. So right now, I think that what he's doing, I have to give it to him, is super, super genius. But at the same time, this is why people have to stay woke. Like, staying woke isn't just posting something on Instagram or, just posting something on social media. Like, we have to actually research this stuff, because prior to 2 weeks ago, I had no idea that over 53,000 voters could possibly not have their right to vote. Like, not voting. 53,000, that's a chunk.
Yeah.
And I think I was already afraid, because I'm like, Georgia is in the South, man. Like, we're talking about Georgia, Florida, and we're possibly witnessing black governors in both of these states, in Florida and Georgia, which is monumental. And like what you said, just don't vote for your heart because somebody's black. But seeing that we have the potential to change the landscape of the South, it's pretty dope. But I mean, at the same time, these guys are not going to give it up easy. 53,000, that's a lot, man.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see. I don't know if by the time this comes out, elections will be over or if there'll be a runoff or anything like that. But I'm real interested to see what because like the South in general, all of their government races have been on the map. Because I know Florida is another state where it's being watched pretty
Andrew
heavily.
Gillum,
Yeah. That one's pretty interesting though.
Yeah.
Have you been watching any his debates or anything like that?
It was pretty funny, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He stumped him. And I think, again, when we talk about these candidates, everybody's straight to the point now. Like, now politics isn't so hard to discern. Like, where everybody stands, because the other guy, I forgot his name, but seeing how he didn't deny having affiliations with the KKK or with white supremacists. Like, these guys are pretty much telling you straight up, this is how I feel. But you said it again, Tyrone, it's all based off of emotion. So if we have Billy Bob to send his trailer in the South, he can connect with somebody that feels with his white values, with his American quote unquote values, traditional conservative values. So when he sees somebody that's just straight up, he's like, I'm gonna vote for that guy, no questions asked. And he's white going against a black guy. It's like, bro, say less. So
let me ask you, where do you think, like, where does politics go from here now? Because like, I mean,
that's a great question.
Honestly, I mean, I'm liking this transparency thing a little bit, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to know everything.
There you go.
So it's like, where do you think we'll go from here?
Politics. Angela Rye, she's probably gonna kill me for this right now, but I think that right now politics is entering this space where it doesn't exist anymore. And when I say that, I'm not saying politics from this perspective of they're supposed to hide things from us or supposed to butter us up, but there's no diplomacy. Like, there's no PC-ness, no just being aware of who you're speaking to. Well, excuse me, they are aware of who they're speaking to, but at the same time, it is so transparent now. It's not even politics. It's like this big reality show where I'm going to be this entertainer. Like Trump, he's not actually speaking. Like, when he's talking, he just wants to rouse people up, get them going, but he's not talking about effective solutions. So that's not politics. And I know, like, we all have our own personal biases, but for instance, President Obama, of course he didn't like half of the right-wingers in there. I don't blame him, but at the same time, he still knew that he still had to be diplomatic about it. He couldn't be calling them SOBs, or he didn't call players SOBs. And not once did we have athletes protesting a president, or even saying, I'm not going to go there after winning a championship. That shows you that we're entering this space of, it's not even politics anymore. And I vividly know with Reagan, when he was president, or the first Bush, of course, athletes would still come, but even if they came and even if they felt like they had to talk about something, they still talked about it, but with respect. But it's like now there's no respect for the president.
Yeah. And I think what really opened my eyes towards, like, because I agree with you on that, but what really opened my eyes towards that was this whole it was during the Kavanaugh hearings, because I really just had to take this moment and like step back and be like what are we doing here,
right?
Because it's like, okay, yes, these are some allegations going on, and I'm like, but what are we doing? Like, it doesn't matter what he says, it doesn't matter what she says,
right?
It doesn't matter what the FBI says.
It's the truth.
Republicans are still going to vote for Republicans, and Democrats are still going to vote for Democrats.
And that's big facts, man. And Tyrone, I realized something, man. You got to give it to the Republican Party. They are some savages, bro. Because at the end of the day, they realize that they have a bigger end goal. So even with Trump, if you think about Trump, a lot of people sleep on this. Over 50% of white women still voted for Trump.
Really?
And I get it with the whole grab them by the you-know-what, all that stuff, but they realize that they have a end goal, and that is for them to control politics, all that stuff, which is perfectly fine because that's the objective of being part of a political party. But I feel like with us sometimes, even if it's more than just black people, or if it involves Democrats or liberals or progressive, like what they always love to say, but sometimes we get so divisive that we don't look at the bigger picture. Like these people with Kavanaugh, they still got him in there, even though he did what he did. And it's scary at the same time because nobody's holding them accountable. And I think that the same energy that we had towards President Obama, we got to apply the same thing towards Trump. With Obama, people were very critical. So it's like with Trump, we can be critical of him, but his own party, they can be too. But it's like at the same time, how did this guy become president, man? Like, there's no diplomacy. And I think that that's what encouraged me the most to vote this time, is that even if we think politics is not for us, it's this crazy business that's built by lobbyism and corporations. At the end of the day, you still got to cast that vote, because if you don't, look at the extreme of what could possibly happen. And seeing with Kemp, seeing, how they talk, and they have so many dog whistles of she's trying to change the South. What does that mean? She's trying to change the South. But then you have to take a step back and realize when he says change the South, let's be completely real. Like, they're talking about the Confederacy. And even though the Civil War was a century ago, these people don't care. Like, this is their culture, this is their quote unquote heritage. And right now that's in threat. We're not only talking about a black female governor in the state of Georgia, but we're talking about a black man who can be governor in Florida. We're talking about Florida and Georgia. And what they're going to do is they're going to inspire other people that look like them, or other minorities, Hispanics, Asians, to, hey, I can do the same thing, because now it doesn't even matter about my gender nor my race. And for conservatives and for traditional values here in the South, that's a scary thing, because then this white dominant society isn't going to exist anymore. So,
and what I want people to do, and what I hope happens, should say full disclosure, because I don't know when the video or whatever, but
right.
Obviously we are two black guys having this discussion. But so if Stacey Abrams and Andrew Gillum do both win the elections, I just hope we don't do what we did when Obama became president.
I talked about that yesterday.
And I feel like when we elected Obama president, everybody kind of got comfortable.
And we got complacent.
Yeah, and we kind of just let a bunch of stuff slide by,
There you go.
Because we were just like,
hey, we got a black dude in there.
Yeah, so we were like, clearly things are going, and everybody
That's
was
facts.
thinking like how you're thinking. They were like, oh, it's just going to inspire people. We were on this like mental high, we were just like, we thought
for 8 years.
Yeah, we were like
8 years.
Everything's cool, but honestly, that should have been the time we should have been on his neck just as hard as we were on Bush, and just as hard as we are on Trump. So I hope if Stacey Abrams and Andrew Gillum win, I hope people don't just take it as like a moral victory,
right? And
people take it as, all right, we got the people we want. Let's
preach, Tyrone.
Let's get to work.
Preach, man. And again, first of all, everybody give it up for my man Tyrone. He's been preaching today. Thank you, Tyrone. Thank you. Straight facts, because again, we can't get complacent. And Atlanta, look at Atlanta, the black Mecca. Do you know how many black mayors we have had? It's been to the point I don't remember having a white mayor throughout my lifetime. And but what is so sad is gentrification is so high. Homelessness is so high. Crime is so high. And I get it. They'll say, oh, it's going down. But at the same time, us is just walking here to the Signal, us walking over here to this office, to this studio, walking around campus, you're going to see at least 5 to 10 homeless people. And that's an issue, because Atlanta has so much money. Down the street, we have these new stadiums, but where's this money being allocated towards? And also, like what you said, we aren't holding these people accountable. We'll say, hey, we got a black mayor in office. Or with Stacey Abrams, we can't settle, because at the end of the day, our counterparts and the people of other parties, they don't settle. Once they get them in NRA, we're going to lobby for you to pass these gun laws. We're going to lobby for you to pass Stand Your Ground. And these things are so calculated, because it's like, I am a white man, so if I get this Stand Your Ground law, if I feel quote unquote endangered by somebody who doesn't look like me, I can kill him and then get away with it, because I have this new law, Stand Your Ground law. So everything, like I'm telling you, they think 3 steps ahead. And also with Kemp, he's trying to not decriminalize marijuana. Now, it's a lot of people who smoke weed. If you do, all power to you, because it's just a plant. But knowing that Kemp isn't trying to decriminalize weed shows you that he's trying to keep the incarceration rates up. Yeah. And people don't look at policies. And I think that what you said, as well as us being complacent, if somebody and I challenge all you guys, even if you already have it set in your mind tomorrow of who you're going to vote for, ask yourself, what are their policies? We don't even look at policies, because what if Kemp has policies that you agree with? Are you just going to vote for Stacey because she looks like us, or because she's progressive? And I'm not saying vote for Kemp at all. I'm just saying, like, we have to study who we're voting for. Like, we have to. Yeah. We have to. So we'll see, though, Tyrone, man. We will see. And speaking of politics, man, our boy, Yeezus. Our boy. Our man.
He's our boy. He's still my boy. I still claim him.
Word on the street, bro. Your boy Kanye talks about politics, and recently he tweeted, "My eyes are now wide open. And now I realize I've been used to spread messages that I don't believe in. I am distancing myself from politics and completely focusing on being creative. 3 exclamation marks. How do you feel about that? Because he said that he's out of the sunken place.
So I guess we should give people some context.
Yeah.
So this is, well, if you haven't been following, you know Kanye has been on his political platform recently endorsing Trump, and I don't know really anything further than that, endorsing Trump. But this came after, so he's been known to be associates with Candace Owens.
Yeah.
For those, Candace is like a political pundit for conservative thinking. She's a
black token, I hate to say.
Yeah, some people refer to her as a token black woman for the Conservative Party. So what happened was apparently from how it was explained to me, Candace was approached, or she met with someone who was making a clothing brand, and the clothing brand was Blexit. And the idea behind it was supposed to be playing off of Brexit, but it was supposed to be black people exiting the Democratic Party. It was like an anti-demographic thing.
Okay.
But it was pushed as Kanye West's new brand.
Got you. Okay.
So Kanye had to clarify, like, look, all I did was introduce Candace to the guy to make the clothes, and like they just put my name on it. So and then that's when he was like, I clearly see that I'm being used and things like that. So
got you.
I hate that he had to find out this way that he was being used. But sorry, Kanye, you're being used.
Newsflash.
Yeah. But as a whole, I think I'm glad he's not talking about his. I mean, anybody can have a political opinion. I just don't think everybody should be vocal with their political opinions, especially ones that aren't based in any facts or anything rational, just on some. Like I said, just with the emotion, he's like identify with Trump. So
yeah.
But I'm glad he's deciding to step back and get more back into his creative bag, because the politics thing wasn't it.
Nah, man, and that ain't easy.
Was not it at all.
But man, it's tough because with Ye, I love Kanye. Growing up, one of my favorite rappers. But I think that Kanye's issue was that he. Like you said, it was too much emotion, and also I don't know if it was his mental state or what, but it's sad that it took that for him to finally realize that he's being used. And I don't know if he's gonna go back. I don't know if he's gonna regress and go back to that same state. Who knows? It's scary because so many people follow him, and this whole free thinker wave, what people have to realize, Kanye has become a Hotep type of person. And when people say, what's a Hotep? All the people that's asking, if you guys watch Insecure, pop culture, pretty much, a Hotep, which derives from people that study Kemet or ancient African civilizations, you know, they are, well, not they, the negative connotation towards them is that they create this mindset of they think that only what they say or only what they believe is right, and also it is regurgitated information, stuff that sometimes we can't support with facts. I'm not talking about African civilizations. There's so many facts on that, it's ridiculous. But more towards the crowd of, for instance, you listening to our podcast and we telling you, or you talking about Kanye, what just happened now. Let's say that me and you forgot a very important detail, and somebody takes exactly what we said, but they mess up exactly what we said and then mess up on the details, and they tweet it to like 12 million people, and it's like, you can't criticize what I just said because I'm a free thinker and these are straight facts. Drops the mic. But what people have to understand is now in this age, we have so much information that it becomes overwhelming, and we don't even fact check what we're saying. So Kanye, although what he would say sometimes would have facts in it, it was clouded by stuff that was already incorrect. So you already are disengaged because it's like, what is he talking about? So I think what Kanye needs to do, he needs to correct this whole free thinker thing, because kids are just regurgitating what they see. Like, you can watch this 9/11 conspiracy theory video and think that everything that was in there was correct without even Googling articles on this, journals, all that stuff. So we have to actually fact check, and that comes back when it comes to voting as well. So
yeah, let me ask you, what do you how do you feel about just people and their value of celebrities' opinions?
Too much. It's too much, because, and I think, thank God that we live in Atlanta. Tyrone, seeing you doing photography is dope, by the way. Make sure that you guys follow my boy East Not West, correct?
East Not West.
Oh, East Not West.
Yeah, SpongeBob reference for all you young
like
kids
it.
out there.
Fire. Fire. He said free plug all day. But yeah, man, because I think us being in our fields, we see celebrities or see people that's somewhat famous, so we actually see them as human beings. But for those people who live in isolated areas, or even people that only see somebody on TV, we subconsciously view them as this godlike figure. So their opinion matters, but we forget that these people are regular people. And Kanye, he can be wrong too. Kim K, she can be wrong too. And I think that it got to a point that it's sad seeing these kids believe everything that Ye is saying, because I think we were blessed to see somewhat of the old Kanye. So we can already just say, man, he's tripping right now. But these kids, they know Kanye from the earliest, probably, I would probably say not even from Yeezus, but probably from 808's Heartbreak at the earliest, possible earliest. So they know this new Kanye that's this more edgier, you know, he snaps all the time and he's contradicting himself, and these kids are following that same pattern. And I think that's why Cole with False Prophets, or also with his new album, his new piece, that he was addressing even kids being on drugs, because this derives from us trying to copy these celebrities, but they aren't even happy with themselves. Mac Miller, as you see, overdosing on drugs. Kanye, he's not happy with himself, and it's so obvious. So I think that people have to understand that we have to appreciate our own opinions, because we're just as smart. And then we actually influence them anyways, because they do everything for us. He makes music to just
without
appeal to
us,
us.
there would be no them.
There you say it again, Tyrone.
Without us, there would be no them.
And we always forget that. That's big facts, man. Without us, there would be no them. And my man Tyrone, I know you probably did not see this, but in the NFL recently, Eric Reid and Malcolm Jenkins got into a fight. Eric Reid,
I heard a little bit about this.
Yeah, man. So Eric Reid, he is Cap's right-hand man, NFL Pro Bowler, but he was cut from the San Francisco 49ers. He was not re-signed. But mind you, he's an easily top 10 safety in the NFL, so he should have had a job, just like Cap. So Eric Reid has recently been signed by the Carolina Panthers, and when he was signed, he was cool. But me and all my friends, we said, dude, what if he keeps taking a knee? That would be the most coolest thing in the world, that, hey, I finessed y'all. Y'all sign me back into the league, and I'm going to keep protesting. Game 1, takes a knee during the national anthem. I love it. I think it's game 3. They play the Philadelphia Eagles. And Malcolm Jenkins, who is president of the Players Coalition, they signed this deal with the NFL worth like $87 million. But part of the contract was to somewhat stop protesting. So Eric Reid, he told him straight up, he ran onto the field like, you sold us out. And he was ready. Like, he was ready to throw blows. And at first, seeing Stephen A. Smith on First Take talking about, this is blasphemous, you know, we got 2 black men fighting. But then I realized Eric Reid, that's a chess move, because he made everybody have a conversation about what Malcolm Jenkins did, because a lot of people didn't know. So seeing how we had somebody who somewhat finessed Cap's movement, and then to me, you can't put a price tag on that. We're talking about racist owners who've called the players, we have our insane asylum being taken over, or the prisoners are taking over, and then Jerry Jones tried to co-opt it by taking a knee with the players after the national anthem just for pictures, but then saying if anybody ever protests on his team, they're being cut.
Yeah.
So from Malcolm Jenkins' perspective, his own, I'm just like, dude, what are you doing? And I get it, but the NFL, we're talking about tycoons in business. They know how to make PR look good. So they can say, hold on, we gave you guys $87 million. What are you talking about? So I think, again, that was a big sellout move, because at the end of the day, Kaepernick, he should have been a part of that. So.
Okay. So it's that Malcolm Jenkins is the one who sold, quote unquote, sold him out.
Right.
And what exactly did he win?
So he was president of the NFL Players Coalition. And this was like 20 plus players, but they met up with the NFL owners. Okay. And they reached a deal. It was worth like around $87 million. Okay. I don't know exactly what you're going to do with that, but that's going towards police brutality awareness and also community activities, which is very broad.
And then in return, they said, we'll stop kneeling.
That's why I said shout out to all the finesse guys out there, because they got finessed again.
Oh man, yeah, that's bad. Well, I think first of all, you can't when the bottom dollar is the dollar, when it all comes down to the dollar at the end of the day, that's all people are going to be about.
Well,
not all, but a lot of people are going to have that in the back of their mind at all times. How can I make money off of this? And I think just the way, just the ebb and flow of a capitalist society,
there you go.
Anything can turn into a dollar. So I can't fault him for that, because if he wasn't going to do it, somebody was definitely going to do it.
There you go.
Somebody was I mean, technically, Nike is already doing it.
Somebody was going to get finesse regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nike is already selling guns to both sides.
True.
So, I mean,
Sponsors of the NFL, and they sponsor Cap.
exactly. So,
Yeah.
it's already happening.
Yeah.
So, but in this particular situation, I can definitely understand how people were upset. But at the same time, I don't know. I mean, he was opportunistic,
Mhm.
and he just took advantage of something where he saw. Now, granted, I don't know what that's going to do. I don't
Mhm.
know. He did kind of throw everybody under the bus by saying, yeah, we're just going to stop doing it because the Players Association, it doesn't speak for everybody.
There you go.
It's just a Players Association.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, people are still going to do it. I mean, I don't know. Have people been doing it?
Yeah, still. Kenny Still, shout out to my man, Miami Dolphins NFL receiver. He's still protesting. Jarrell Casey for the Tennessee Titans, a defensive end, he's still protesting. So seeing all these people still protest and still sticking to their guns, salute to them.
And is the NFL like serious about their fines? Have they been fining people?
No, they actually repealed that in training camp because they realize that if we do this, we're going to be paying fines every Sunday. And also, the Miami Dolphins owner, he was very adamant about players not taking a knee. That's why I respect Kenny Stills, because he still takes a knee and he plays for the Dolphins. And again, I get it when people have this conflict of, well, your free speech is taken away when you work for a company. Yes and no. Because technically, let's be all real, it's sports. I get it, sports is a business, but sports is sports. Also, unlike a regular 500 company, Fortune 500 company, these guys are having a platform that's unprecedented. Like LeBron, he can open up a school if he feels like it, or he can have 25 million followers on Instagram and still have a show on HBO and still be the best player in the world. So this isn't like working in a regular 9 to 5, because you have power too. So just expecting for players to not take a knee because it makes you uncomfortable. But when it comes to the Army or the service, they're expected to, be part of that. And really the players weren't part of the national anthem until the NFL signed a deal with the U.S. Army around 2008. It was $1 billion deal. So that is why we see the patriotism of join the Army during the NFL games or the national anthem. So like what you said again, corporations, people don't look at business. This is a business. It's not about the flag. It's not about patriotism. They want viewers, and they have a deal with the Army. So they will be damned to have NFL players protesting.
And you know what I think, to tie it back to what we were saying, that how like the whole, it's almost like the curtain's being taken down on everything, and it's kind of leaving these people who don't have any, like, they don't stand for anything but the dollar, like they're being exposed right now.
There you go.
Because now corporations like a Nike or something like that, like,
there you go,
you're just out there and it was like, okay, well, what do you stand for? Because it's like you're just doing whatever you can to please both sides, and you can't do it.
Yep.
And what takes me to that, though, it's kind of a little off, but it's still in the same realm. I was seeing, you ever watch wrestling as a kid?
I did somewhat, but I already knew it was fake after like a few years.
But it's interesting you say that, because there's the fakeness of wrestling is called kayfabe. That's just what it's called.
Okay.
And the thing about it, it's exactly that. It's what makes the Undertaker, and it's what allows you to go there and look at this and be like, okay, I understand that these guys aren't really killing each other, and I know they don't really hate each other, but you blindly or you willingly suppress your knowledge of what's real in order to fit the story, in order for the story to continue to flow. So in order for you to understand that the Undertaker is coming back to life, you have to willingly tell yourself, okay, this isn't Mark Calloway, this isn't some actual dude who has a job, like, this is the dead man. So I feel like, and I should say, this isn't my original idea. I know it sounds brilliant, but this is an idea that I got from a video, it's a channel called Wisecrack.
Okay.
But they were talking about, though, how they were relating wrestling to, like, real life now. How people now seems like we're willingly suppressing, or we're being willfully ignorant to a lot of things.
There you go.
In order to make our stories flow the way we want them to flow. Because I think people forget that reality is way stranger than fiction.
Yeah.
Like, what happens in real life is crazier than what you think is fake.
That's facts.
So, and I think, like, when it comes to things like this, and just how people will believe what they want to believe. The money will go where they want it to go. And it's only just, it seems like everybody's just working to fit a storyline. Like nobody's really doing what they should be doing. And with advertisers in general, it's showing that they're the producers of the show. Like they're like, we don't really care if the Undertaker lives or dies.
It is what it is.
Whatever is just gonna bring more people to watch it. Honestly, like we have no connection to this.
Bro, Tyrone, seriously, man, you have been preaching today.
Hey man, I have. Hold on, wait.
Oh, standing over him, man. Hey, clap for him one more time, y'all. One more time. I love it. I love it. Tyrone, that is crazy because everything that you said is so true, because when it comes to politics, when it comes to celebrities, media, everything, we don't know. Well, we do know. We just don't feel like discerning from what's real and what's fake, because fake right now is cool. I don't know why. It just is, because if you derive from social media, TV, we like being in other places rather than being where we're at right now. So that deals from happiness, psychological stuff, all that stuff. Capitalism, because it's all about money. So if you don't make a certain amount, then you start to be down on yourself, or you want to be somebody else. So all that stuff is facts, man. And before we get out of here, Tyrone, shout out to you again for coming through with the soundboard, coming through with the mics, coming through and being a man, an amazing co-host, bro. Appreciate it. Straight fire. And before we leave, bro, can you let the people know a few artists to look out for? Free plug for some good music.
Okay, so let's see. You caught me off guard here. All right, I know one. So there's an R&B artist that I love, bro. I love her so much. Her name is Baby Rose.
I gotta check it out.
You can find her on Instagram. I believe it's Baby Rose Music.
Okay.
I love her, bro. She's beautiful for one, and she has a voice that's very reminiscent of like what's her name? Strange Fruits.
I know what you're talking about.
What's her name?
But I don't know at the same time.
People are killing me right now. But the lady who made Strange Fruits, just that womanly, like raspy type voice. Yeah.
That's fire.
Yeah,
that's fire.
I love it. Go check her out, Baby Rose.
Okay. And guys, if you guys aren't even familiar or have no idea who this guy is, Masego, R&B as well.
Heard him. He just performed here not too long ago.
I went to the concert. Best concert I've ever been to. Wow. Fire. So talented. He plays the sax, makes his own beats. He sings. He's amazing, man. Like, it was crazy. Sold out. Masquerade was sold out. So Masego's fire. Who else, man? It's somebody else that I'm leaving out. It is a artist that has been grinding for a while. Eric Bellinger, R&B as well. Nasty. Love Eric Bellinger.
He's been low key for a long time. He writes for a lot of people.
He writes for a lot of people, but he doesn't get any type of credit. So shout out to him. And shout out to Mario, who just dropped his album too, like a few weeks ago. It was pretty dope as well. So all those guys. But also, if you guys are interested in finding underground R&B artists like what you just said, Tyrone as well, Escape Tracks on YouTube. They have like a new playlist every other 2 days, and it is amazing. It's like 60 plus songs, so all good vibes. But again, Tyrone, thank you again for being a great co-host as well. Shout out to Julian, The Signal, and also you guys make sure to subscribe, because our new name 9 times out of 10 is probably gonna be The Statement. So check us out. Much love, and also make sure to go out, go vote, and stay woke as well. Peace. Much love.